what I wanted to start off with is, what are some of the symptoms of possession?
Sihr is more dangerous, it's more hard to bear for a human because of the westernization, because of liberalism, because being far away from the deen, they don't believe in it.
No one should be asking you your mother's name, your father's name, and never should you be given a strand of hair. You're not a piece of cloth. I've heard these things, photos. If a man comes from Pakistan and he books out a big community center in Birmingham and he tells everyone to put their hands on their head and he goes, he's not upon the sunnah, right? And he goes to him, he goes, they're all donkeys. Their peer, who they probably would, be ready to sacrifice their life for.
And then the jinn gonna appear. He may appear like a snake, he may appear like a dog, or he may appear like a voice talking to you. The jinn starts speaking another language. That's what really makes me, subhanallah. A lady who never ever spoke Urdu, Habibi, speaks fluent Urdu. And some of the jinn, the way they look at your eyes, like, you know what, I'm gonna get you one day.
Yeah, I've experienced that.
The way they look at your eyes, Habibi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Today we have a very interesting episode, a very important one, and we have a very, very special guest with us, and that is Ustad Abu Yasha. Ustad Abu Yasha works with us at My Tazkiyah, and subhanAllah, Ustad, without going into too much praise and so on, I just want to say, from behalf of me and the team and the members, that we are extremely grateful to have you on the team, and the way you've helped us at My Tazkiyah, especially with the spiritual side of things, the time, the effort you've given My Tazkiyah, may Allah accept it from you. The tafsir classes and the coaching, everything that you do, you have really been a pillar of our program. May Allah reward you and accept it from you. So basically, other than your work at My Tazkiyah, how you help us, if you could just introduce yourself briefly before we go on to the topic, inshallah.
It's quite a difficult one. Right, I'm going to give it a try, inshallah.
Inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Right, generally for the past, I would say 17 years of my life, I've been mainly Quran al-Karim teacher. Okay, and I've been doing that for a while, since I was really young. So when I'd done my Tahfidh al-Quran al-Karim, I started to embark on the journey of memorizing, of teaching Quran al-Karim. And that went on for a while, and I started teaching Arabic language to children and adults. That was something that I really enjoyed doing. But as an Asian Muslim practicing person, it's like as if you know some other things like healing and spiritual healing. So that came along in my life like as if I had to know about those arts of knowledge. So what happened was I started doing that for the past 14 years. Okay, so I was an apprentice. The first Ruqya Center, I don't know if you know about it. It opened in East London called Ruqya Center.
In Whitechapel?
In Whitechapel.
Yeah, I've been there.
We were the main one opened it. So I was a translator for the person doing it.
Okay.
So I actually never knew about that side. So 6 months, like every single day, because it's a new institution, it's a new organization, I had to be part of it. And the person who was doing or translating from English to Bengali, Bengali to English, Arabic to Arabic to English, and all those kind of stuff. Yeah. So what happened was I kind of learned the trick of the trade kind of thing. Okay, so that went on for a number of years. But I wouldn't call myself a healer though. Okay, I would say as for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, something that, it's like a passion.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously my Tazkiyah came along for the past 2.5 years, alhamdulillah. I've been coaching brothers. And I teach in the maktab and I lead Salatul Jummah in different mosques. That's something I've been doing. I enjoy what I'm doing. Everything is Islamic related, so alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And a bit about where you graduated from, Al-Azhar University. What did you do there?
Right. So obviously when I was 17, I left this country because, Jahiliyyah was in the top.
Yeah, it's fine. 17 years
so I had to kind of leave the country and study, embark on that journey of learning Arabic language, Quran al-Karim, tafsir, hadith, aqidah. So then I done that privately. Then obviously I decided to be part of institutions. That's when I started applying for Al-Azhar back in 2010.
Yeah.
So I went on a journey that took me about 9 years to kind of do the whole program, and it finished just before the COVID basically. So alhamdulillah. But in between, I came back to London. I worked, I was part of my family, and I got married, I had kids, but I continued learning basically.
Alhamdulillah. So you finished your studies just before COVID?
Just before COVID.
Serious?
Yeah.
Subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah.
So not like long before you joined Madrasah?
Yeah, so not too long, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So obviously, just before the COVID, I graduated, alhamdulillah.
So in our area, like I've noticed a lot of brothers, they end up going to Medina University. I've noticed that a lot of brothers from East London, or specifically, like Tower Hamlets, Whitechapel, a lot of the Bengali brothers have gone to Al-Azhar. Why is that?
Al-Azhar is more like a walking in, so it's really accessible. But the thing is, for you to kind of continue and pursue the knowledge in Al-Azhar is a challenge. Al-Azhar is more like, it's very independent, so you have to make sure that you enter the examination before they even put you into what level that you're going to be in. But anyone can go in. Everyone's got the ability to go and study there. But the thing is, are you going to be patient? Are you going to be are you willing to go through the whole process and live with the Egyptians? And it's a very backward system at the same time. It's a very old university. It's been going on for more than 1,000 years. So they're still quite backward. The system is quite backward. So you need a lot of patience. So it's more accessible. So people go to Al-Azhar because you got other perks. Like you study with the scholars outside the university. You can come to UK whenever you want. It's more feasible. It's more practical. Whilst in Medina, if you leave the country, that's it. They'll find out you left the country.
The visa issues.
They might just dismiss you. And I've seen many brothers who studied in Medina. They did get dismissed because they plus Medina obviously is more expensive. Whilst in Al-Azhar or in Egypt a bit more less. Well, now it's quite expensive. Generally, it's more easier.
I think that's why a lot of people even do hijrah, they find it a bit easier. It's quite cheap as well. Like I've got my cousin brother moved, so my nieces are studying in university in Alexandria, and my cousin sister was saying she's paying like £200 a month for rent. Do you know what I mean? And then compare it to UK or even Medina, I think it works out quite well. I know a lot of brothers that are studying in smaller institutions, in different parts. And I think one brother I met recently in summer, I think he just works a bit here, a couple of months, and then he goes there, and it lasts him for a while.
Yeah.
Well, alhamdulillah, basically, brothers and sisters, this is your spiritual plug. Allahumma barik, whatever you need, whatever you basically need work with, Ustad is here. Whether that's ruqya, marriage counseling, addiction-related issues, whatever it is, alhamdulillah, that's what I've seen. All-inclusive package with Ustad.
So I haven't mentioned about the marriage counselling, sorry. That happened more for the past couple of years, I would say since 2020. So I realised, there's a big gap in terms of giving the right advice. Because what happened is the Islamic councils or the arbitration organization, they get filled up. And I mainly work with the youth. So those young men and women who got married newly wedded, they go through issues. So basically I deal with those kind of ones as well.
Okay, inshallah. So we'll touch on that after the main topic that I obviously invited you for, which is ruqya, evil eye, and basically things to do with jinn. And to start off with the story, subhanAllah, the first time I kind of got introduced to this field, of maybe you could call it possession, ruqya and so on, was when I went on Hajj in 2011. And a family member was acting a bit out of place there, they'll wake up suddenly in the hotel room, look confused, looking left, right, and everyone's noticing, what is going on with this person? Something's off, subhanAllah. And that's when the tour guide, the brothers who arranged the Hajj, they said it seems like he may have jinn issues, and they advised us to do ruqya. So basically, they all started reading Quran in a room. I think it was just a general kind of like trying to seek aid from Allah, trying to read Quran and see if anything happens. And the person was like just getting a burning feeling, but no reaction. So we came back to London. And then we got in touch with Iraqi, and he came to our house and basically did ruqya, and straight away the jinn started talking, screaming, shouting subhanallah, and it was shocking. I'd never seen something like this happen before.
SubhanAllah.
And it was amazing though. Some people, that's what we see in life. Sometimes we think bad things are happening to us. Why they're happening? Why is this taking place? And I know that this person, one of the main things for him to come to Deen and get closer to Allah was because of this affliction that he suffered from, subhanAllah. So it was actually like a blessing in disguise, right? So what I wanted to start off with is, what are some of the symptoms of possession? What things could, signal that I'm suffering from jinn possession or evil eye? Or that third thing that I was speaking to you about, that recently Iraqi mentioned, with another family member being touched by a jinn. If you've ever heard of that,
Yes.
If you could just explain that briefly.
Right. It's quite a big area that you just touched
Allah,
upon.
sorry.
But what is, first and foremost, the very common one, okay, that is sihr. Okay, sihr is a very common thing that us as community that we're going to face. And the symptoms are many, okay. One of them could be, the common one is migraine. Okay, a lot of migraines, a lot of confusion. You find it hard to concentrate. You feel lightheaded. Okay, you feel a lot of pins and needles in your body. A lot of shoulder pains. A lot of bodily aches and pains. Insomnia. Okay, appetite issues. It kind of is very similar to a mental illness kind of thing, or kind of mental disorder or personality disorder, but it's not, because you were not like that before. Like you have no past history about having those kind of symptoms. It just comes suddenly. Do you know what I mean? You sleep a lot. For those who are married, for the sisters, it could be the fact that you have a lot of belly pains, a lot of pains in the ovaries. You feel bloated. There's sudden change of your behavior with the husband. You hate your husband, and the husband doesn't even know what's going on. Like suddenly she's coming out with all those things about me. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're cheating, you're doing this. It's crazy. She will distance herself from her children, from her mother, from her father, from her husband, seeking isolation. A lot of isolation. You're going to find it hard to pray. If you're not someone who never used to pray, then it's more difficult. Like you're going to be in a very, like you'll have a lot of intrusive thoughts. Like a lot of intrusive thoughts that will make you want to commit suicide. Yeah. And especially for the brothers, because when someone is living with someone who has mental illness or jinn possession, it becomes very difficult for the husband. He doesn't know how to navigate. You go to the doctors. Yes, that's the important bit. You go to the doctors. You go to A&E. You book yourself with the surgery. With the doctor. They can't find anything. They can't find nothing, and they start referring them to the psychiatric team. There's nothing there. They just give you medication that will help you. It's probably a good thing to do, taking medication, because obviously you've got children, you have to navigate, you have to keep the house going. So, it's a very difficult position, akhi. It's a very challenging thing for someone who may be going through sihr. Evil eye is a bit lighter one. So evil eye could be, you feel confused, you feel a lot of lethargic, a lot of tiredness. Things are not going well for you. Like, you might be having a business, but suddenly your business is going low. Like, you're not doing really well anymore. The profit margin is going right down. You have a lot of headaches.
This could be more related to evil eye.
Evil eye, or nazar, they call it.
Yeah.
Okay. it could be the fact that you try to do something new, but you can't do really well. Like it doesn't go according to the plan. Evil eye, the symptoms is more like you distance yourself from the family, you go through depression, anxiety, a lot of anxiety. So that can happen through evil eye. Your body feels pale. When looking to the mirror, your body feels really pale. So your face becomes really pale. Your appetite is not good enough. Like it starts affecting what you love eating. You don't like it anymore. The chores that you enjoy doing, you don't like it anymore. It's very similar.
Yeah.
But sihr is more dangerous because sihr is more stronger. Is more hard to bear for a human.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
And with sihr, what I wanted to know was, because once I heard that every time, someone does black magic, there's always a jinn attached to the magic. Or can they be, because recently we went to Iraqi and he said, no, it doesn't have to be the case. You can have magic inside someone, inside the stomach, for instance, and it's not necessarily that a jinn was sent with that magic. So can someone be afflicted with magic on its own? Like, can that affect a person without a jinn being involved?
Subhanallah. The one that is a common one is that when someone is inflicted with magic, then the jinn is attached to that magic to protect the magic.
Yeah.
It's called himayatu sihr, the one that's protecting the magic.
Yeah.
The very common one is that it will possess you, and it will, before even it possesses you, subhanAllah, it will kind of visualize your body for a couple of days, before it kind of possesses you. It doesn't happen straight away.
Yeah.
So the lower, not the hierarchy ones, the lower ones of the jinn are the ones that possess the human.
Yeah.
The shayateen, the evil ones. So what they would do is they usually are the ones that possess the human. Okay, that depends what type of magic it is. Okay, if it is got to do with cursing, for example, a sihr been done in a business, it may not necessarily be, in your body.
Yeah.
It can be roaming around you, but it's not specifically inside you. Okay, so a lot of the time you get questions, but my business is not doing well. My turnover was millions of pounds, but now it's going right down. Subhanallah. The common one that you'll find that I deal with, and that's something that I've been doing for many years of my life, is the sihr of tafriq, the sihr of separation. Okay, because the remedy is much more available. Okay, and you can coach them, and by the time they come out of it, for that one, definitely for a female, it stays in her belly, in her ovaries, and it sits in her head, in her joints, a lot in her shoulders. Okay, and that's a very common one. Regards to jinn that doesn't have to be in the body, is true. Okay, it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be in the body. But the common one that is mostly something that I deal with, and most of the healers that they deal with, is jinn, a human being that is possessed actually. And it needs a lot of reading, a lot of dua, a lot of ruqya, a lot of reciting, like an hour and a half, and then it starts coming out. Sometimes it's been there for a very long time, like 10 years. Like you never realize you were possessed for 10 years, 15 years. You've been running around to hospitals and GPs, and you just never knew the fact that you had something in you.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a taboo subject, because of the westernization, because of liberalism. They disbelieve in such a thing, and whilst Quran al-Karim talks about it, because being far away from the deen, they don't believe in it, and what happens is they believe in it later on when someone suggests them, go to a healer. You've done everything, nothing's working. Go to someone, go to Maulvi Sahib.
Yeah. Like back home, it's almost like a normal thing. You want something done, go to the Pir Sahib. Like, alhamdulillah, there's a lot of people upon the sunnah, but I think it might be like, a minority. From my experience, going back home and seeing and hearing things, it's like some people, it's like, by hearing about stories, it's just normal. Like, sihr is normal. Like, you want things done. You want this person to get married to that person, or, you want them to go abroad or something, go to Pir Sahib. And Pir Sahib is basically doing sihr. you can clearly tell by what's going on. Okay, take this ta'weez and make your husband put in his drinks. And I've heard these stories where the wife is doing it to the husband out of jahiliyyah, like they obviously ignorance, lack of knowledge, like they've been born and brought up with that. That's all they know. And then because it's to do with love, like the person found the ta'weez and it said something like, make him love me and so on to the husband, right? So that the husband likes him more. And then I feel like that's playing with lust, right? And then you hear similar stories where the husband is now going, maybe that's worked, the magic, yeah, in the wrong way. And now he's going and cheating on her as well. Because, you're playing with these emotions, subhanAllah, like with lust. So even these women, you know what I mean, who are involved in this, thinking that I'm going to give this, thing, this potion or whatever, to my husband to make him love me, like, it's never going to be a positive outcome from that. It's always going to have negative effects, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. SubhanAllah. Shall I touch on that?
Yeah, bismillah.
What happened is many women, they have this thing, what they call, they have anxiety kind of thing, where, my husband, he doesn't love me anymore. They have this lack of self-esteem where they feel like they want their husband to be in a certain way because they're not getting that, because the husband may be a very successful man. He may be having interaction with other female members professionally. And obviously you have a jealous wife at home.
Yeah.
And what she wants is she wants the full attention of her husband.
Yeah.
And maybe he is giving attention, subhanAllah. I'm sure he's a good man. And most of the time they are loyal husbands, by the way, mashallah. When you talk to them, they are good men.
Yeah.
They're men of high values, I call them. They pray, they do the things. But it's not enough.
Yeah.
For the wife, it's not enough. So what she would do is she will, again, go to the Pir Sahib and said, you know what, I want certain things. And again, the Pir Sahib going to say, just give me his name and his father's name or mother's name. Or give me a strand of hair, send it abroad, And they call it white magic.
Yeah, subhanAllah, white
they
magic.
call it the white magic. But how can it be magic? Because now you have inflicted a jinn to be inside the body of your husband.
SubhanAllah.
And the effect of that, akhi, is that he's going to always be confused.
Yeah.
He's going to have a bad headache. He's going to find it really hard to sleep.
Yeah.
And he's going to blindly, he's like a zombie in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, he's showing you love now.
Yeah.
He may be showing you a bit more affection, but he's not a normal person anymore. Like,
Yeah.
you have, a'udhu billah, you have possessed him.
Yeah.
That's haram, that's kufr.
Yeah.
That's you disbelieving in Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Yeah.
Because for the sake of your instability, because of instability and because of your own problems, you're giving it to your husband rather than talking about it, rather than doing therapy, rather than being that good wife and be a bit more happy with yourself, with your own personality. Do you know what I mean? That my husband is a good man. I'm gonna win his heart through other means.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be through sihr.
Yeah.
Subhanallah.
And that thing you said, I've heard that that's a sign of a magician. If someone asks for your mother's name, there is no real purpose in gaining your mother's name, right? According to Sunnah, you're going to just recite Quran. Is that true? That, a person who asks for your mother's name, that's a sign of a magician?
Yep, of course. I mean, you need some sort of DNA. So what they would do is they look for DNAs, like your mother's name, your full name, a piece of cloth that you've been wearing before, your DNA, like your hair, your clothes, your, something like a scent, and that's enough to perform sihr.
Yeah.
But no person ever, you see, that's in the book of sihr, that's in the book of magic. Okay, if this is something that Jalla Wala has forbid us to learn. But we know it because that's what they teach in the books of magic, that you need some sort of DNA. You need picture. People, they give pictures out to the Pir Sahib or to the charlatan, and or to the magician, you have a lot of them, subhanAllah. They're very cheap, akhi. They're not very expensive, For British people, it's actually, like what, 50, 100 pounds is what, do you know what I mean, to perform sihr. And that's it. That magician gonna perform his sihr at night time. He's gonna lay things down. He's going to take that strand of hair, that picture, and he's going to perform the sihr. You know, a'udhu billah.
So to distinguish between a raqi who is upon the sunnah and, you know, a magician, what would be the distinguishing factors for a person to know, okay, like this person is dodgy and this person is doing something that is proper and according to Islam?
Right. From my personal experience, a raqi or a healer, he will have other professions. That's not his job.
Yeah.
Akhi, in the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in the Hayat al-Sahaba, in the lives of Sahabas, everyone's a raqi.
Yeah.
They never had a profession.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that they've done out of piety. So a Maulvi Sahib, he will have other jobs. That's not something that he does as a main primary job.
Yeah.
That's number one. Okay, number two, he visits the masjid. Okay, he's a man of Quran al-Kareem. You'll find him to be upon Sunnah. You'll find him to be living a normal life just like you. You know, he's not someone extraordinary. Do you know what I mean? He lives a normal life. He makes mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Thirdly, when you have him in the house, he reminds you, he reassures you the fact that I'm not here to do anything abnormal. I'm not gonna put screws in the wall. I'm not gonna give you something that's out of the blue. I'm just here to purely to recite Quran al-Kareem and dua from the Sunnah or phrases.
Yeah.
Now that phrase is going to be mainly in Arabic language, okay? And he'll give you water, olive oil, you know, basic stuff, you know, certain herbs. So basically anything that doesn't go against, like something that doesn't confirm shirk, basically.
Yeah.
So that's how you would know. And he will be reasonable with the pricing.
Yeah.
Allah, he'll be reasonable with the pricing. Because that's not his main job, remember this. He's not going to go and say, you know what, every month you're going to have to give me this amount of money. Okay, every month you're going to have to, you know, every session you're going to have to give me £300, £400.
Yes,
He's not going to do that because he knows, he's empathic, akhi.
Yeah.
A true raqi or someone who's been practicing ruqya for a while, he's very empathic. He's going to understand you. He's not going to bother you or burden you. Okay? Now, some families, they said, you know what, out of love, they want to give him a lot of money. That's fine. That's okay, no problem.
Yeah, like a hadiah, you know.
Yeah, like a hadiah. Do you know what I mean? You know, like a hadiah. But the thing is, he's not gonna say, you know what? If you don't give me that amount of money, I'm not gonna come.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens.
Yeah.
And there's more charlatans, there's more consters than good healers.
Yeah.
You know, the good healers, another thing, it's hard to find them
Yeah.
because they shy away from it.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it. And when they do it, they make results.
Yeah.
You know, they have this lot of shyness in them. They have a lot of humbleness in them. And they don't move the fingers around when they go to people's houses. And it's kind of weird. They don't move the fingers. They don't start taking your names down, your parents' name down. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
You'll find that person, he probably memorized the whole Quran al-Kareem. You'll find that person who is very well versed in tafsir, you know. So he has knowledge of the deen. But he will also call himself someone who's like a normal person. And he's not going to say, I'm a raqi, I'm a healer.
Yeah.
No. You know, he's a normal person because that thing is something new.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something very new. This is something that has come very new, akhi. You know, if you look at the past and the Sahabas and the Tabi'een, everyone's a healer. Everyone's a healer. You can't say, I'm a raqi. I don't believe in that term. Now, some may say, some of the viewers out there, they may say, what are you talking about? It's a job and whatnot. I say, no, akhi.
Yeah.
You want a job, go and get a job.
Alhamdulillah. So basically, a raqi who is upon the sunnah will just come and recite Quran, with his knowledge, certain verses. And, maybe he will recommend, okay, take a sidr honey or, things according to sunnah. No one should be asking you your mother's name, your father's name, and never should you be given a strand of hair, a piece of cloth. I've heard these things, photos, subhanallah. And especially now, Ustad, we'll touch on that as well, where social media, we have virality aspect, where, brothers and sisters are displaying themselves and their bodies, and millions of people are seeing this in the corners of the world, in the corners of Asia, Africa, America, China, subhanAllah. Well, we'll touch on that. I just wanted to mention, subhanAllah, with this family member, we were kind of like, I was newly practicing then, we weren't that aware. So someone told us, okay, we have like a so-called Raqi, and come over. It was about 100 and something miles away, back in 2011 maybe. And the same family member we took, but I knew something is not right. It was like an old uncle. He would mention, so I'm checking, obviously, in a couple of years practicing, he's mentioning Allah's names. And then he's like speaking some next language, like that, literally like this. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, even as a newly practicing Muslim, something's not right. But then he'll mention, I'll check as well, Allah's names or verses from the Quran. Then he'll mix it up with I was like, something's not right. I was trying to like get this person away. I was like, I just wasn't happy with it. And the other families, like, be patient. They were like, maybe not that practicing, not that understanding, and from back home as well. So they're thinking this is part of the process. And then man gets a few eggs. He goes, give me some eggs. Cracks them. And he throws them out the window. And he goes, like, go or something. And he goes like, and then the whole aspect of sacrificing, subhanallah, for other than the sake of Allah.
Yes.
A'udhu billah. But then, what I was confused in that time, like I said, lack of knowledge and so on, that he's mentioning then, bits of Quran and, Allah's names. What do you think was going on there?
Right. Sihr, you have to understand, is something called mukhada. Mukhada means treacherous.
Yeah.
Something that is al-khafi, hidden, and done in a very malicious manner.
Yeah.
Okay. Sihr is mukhada. Okay. In the Shar'an, in the Islamic terminology, recital or being treacherous and malicious in and reciting certain verses of magic with the objective of harming someone spiritually or physically. Okay, this is what sihr is. Okay, now what that person did, akhi, is that he said few Allah's names, few names of Allah, okay, maybe attribute or maybe Allah alone, okay, and he added a lot of batil, a lot of ta'widat, a lot of chantation, a lot of chanting of sihr, and chanting of those words and bringing the jinn basically. So he will use Allah's name because he wants to make people believe, look, I'm very Islamic.
It was only one or two names he kept on repeating, and that is well signal that there's a lack of knowledge there. He keeps repeating one or two things, just those similar kind of like,
Allah Azza wa Jalla, يَلْبِسُونَ الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِل. They mix haqq and batil together.
Yeah.
You understand? So what they have done here is basically what that person did and likes of him is they're just misleading everyone. It's misguidance and misleading the masses, akhi. And they're very good at what they do. They will put Allah's name down. In the sihr, you'll find Allah's name, and you'll find certain verses, and then you find all the alamat, all the signs of sihr, like star sign, David sign, and whatnot, and all these kind of wriggly signs. And sometimes you'll find a lot of Quran al-Karim written on it.
Yeah.
And you find the signs in the corners.
Yeah.
Some of the pictures, if you look at it, you'll find on the top is like a picture of a devil. Ajib.
Yeah.
And then you find like charts, a lot of numbers. It's like it all means something, and it's calling the devil basically.
So this number chart, sometimes I've been there where Ta'weez are opened and we've seen number charts. That's again got nothing to do with Islam, right?
Nothing.
That's magic.
Islam. That's magic.
Right,
Yes.
with numbers written on it and so on and writing. Sometimes again, I've seen Allah's names and on the side, subhanallah.
Again, misguidance.
Yeah.
They write something really. They write about those things, but Allah's names and attributes and remaining all is all nothing but calling the jinn basically. And labeling the jinn, which jinn is there to do that job, basically. And these are all found in their books of magic. These are all zodiac signs and, Babylon and how when it was created, the ancient time. Do you know what I mean? So,
and how can one dispose of these ta'weez once you find them?
Mm-hmm. You just remind me of a story. So I received a phone call 3 weeks ago, and the brother is saying that, look, I found this chart beside my cooker.
Yeah.
So he showed it to me, and what he did was he asked 2 other Maulvis about those things. Like, he found this, what should he do? Unfortunately, subhanallah, they said, you know what, burn it and bury it. What he did was he ripped it up and he buried it.
Yeah.
That's what he did. I said, Akhi, that's not the right way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually say that to him. I said, you know what, okay, it's done, khalas, alhamdulillah. But I said, you know what was written there? He said, Ustad, my wife's name is written there, my mom and my mother-in-law's name is written in the middle and on the sides.
Yeah.
I said, Inna lillah. I'm like, right. Akhi, would you mind, and I was not on loudspeaker, by the way, so his wife is listening. I said, Akhi, would you mind me reciting for 5 minutes? Mm-hmm. Now that's like 3 weeks after he has disposed the sihr. Mm-hmm. He found me. He found my number and he gave me a call. I said, look, can I recite for 5 minutes, please? He said, yeah, it's fine, Ustad, go ahead, you know. I said, this is going to be Quran al-Kareem and some ayat, some dua, basically. He said, yeah, tafaddal, you know, Bismillah. So all I did was recite the first verse of Surah Baqarah and the last verse. And what I did was I started repeating something. Okay, I seek refuge from the sihr and from the magicians, and from the devil who is inside the human. That's all I said. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min kulli sihrin wa sahara wal abalisa wa shayatina fi jasadiha. So what I just mentioned in the translation. So I kept on reciting that at least 20 times. And that's it. She's screaming, bruv, on the phone. You know, screaming. And the brother beside him was really shocked. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, you could be really
I said, Akhi, that's the sihr that was done on your wife.
Yeah.
Habibi, how can you not realize this? Why don't you realize the fact that your wife is possessed and the fact that your wife is blaming you and she wants to get out from the house? She's causing you chaos. She's causing you havoc in the house. I'm not realizing the fact that this sihr was done specifically for your wife and for your mother-in-law. And he was like, what can he say? Like, obviously, I told him to come over. It's a very long story. So that's what happened, Akhi. You know, it's something that you come across, Akhi. It's very weird, very unique, you know.
May Allah protect us. So just to clarify, Ustad, if a man comes from Pakistan and he books out a big community centre in Birmingham and he tells everyone to put their hands on their head and he goes, he's not upon the sunnah, right? He's not upon the sunnah, right?
No, it can't be. That's not sunnah at all.
Subhanallah, there's some madmans out there, you know that, Ustad. I was on a TikTok live once and one brother from Bradford, Pashtun brother, he goes, basically, there was like a big gathering. Some Pir Sahib came from Pakistan, I believe. And this Pir is Pathan as well, yeah? So Pashtun, but he's from Pakistan. And then a lot of his followers were like Azad Kashmir, so Kashmiri, Pakistanis, right? They can't really, I guess they can't speak his language or whatever. So he said this brother was saying, another Pathan brother asked the Pir Sahib, because they all come and giving him money. £10, £20, £50. And the Pashtun brother asks the Pir Sahib, who is also Pashtun, he goes, what is so special about you? You know, what are you doing that all of these guys are coming and giving you so much money? And he goes to him, he goes, they're all donkeys. They're Pir Sahib, who they probably would, be ready to sacrifice their life for and do whatnot. And they come in and, A'udhu Billah, doing all this for him, giving him money. He's there sitting, making a mockery out of them. Subhanallah. May Allah protect us. But he goes to the other guy, he goes, they're all donkeys. Giving me money, basically.
Akhi, that's the two reasons why a magician becomes a magician. Number one is that he's going to make money.
Yeah.
Because us Muslimin, we have become ignorant of our deen.
SubhanAllah, yeah.
Okay. Secondly, what he does is he gains fame. Okay. You realize how they treat a pirsa. Like, he's the one, he's the don, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's big business, isn't it?
Like,
Big business back home.
He's very unique and he's very, he's a mysterious man. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the two reasons why someone will embark on that journey of becoming a magician. And another reason why a young apprentice is becoming a magician is because he's been exposed to a lot of crazy stuff like black magic, white magic, and maybe his father was a, charlatan, maybe his father was a magician, his uncle. So he was growing up and he probably didn't have education, probably he didn't have much money, and he found that, it's like a door is open for him, for him to embark on that journey of becoming like his father, like his uncle. So that makes them become that person, akhi. It's a very sad, reality, but magicians are very big in number, akhi. Ajib. There's more magicians than good healers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big business back home. In our village, like you said, the local Peer Sahib, apparently every other village will have this Peer Sahib. So instead of people of knowledge, they'll have these Peer Sahib, right? And they're very respected, so-called righteous. And I remember as a kid, like it was time pass, back in the day, 20 years ago, not much to do in the villages. So everyone would go to his house in the evening, tea's running, maybe food. And he was the only one with a satellite dish. So like everyone's chilling there. You would think, go to Peer Sahib, he's going to tell us, some Islamic stories, maybe teaching people the Quran. They're watching Bollywood movies and stuff. In this big satellite, like, he's the local guy, you know what I mean? So basically, he was just entertainment. Like over here, Allah protect us, maybe people will go into clubbing and these kind of haram environments. I feel like that's their clubs back home. Do you know what I mean? And so like it's big business, Sometimes we say to Abu Yasin, mashallah, he's kind of big, he's got a long hair. The family jokes, I joke, and I go, bruv, you need to go back home. Get a big flag, big flag on top of the house, yeah? And just, easy money, bro. No, astaghfirullah. But, what I wanted to ask, Ustad, so I mentioned this to you earlier as well, about being touched by a jinn. I never really heard this before until the recent appointment with the Raqi. Because again, there's someone close to me. It's been about 2 years, yeah? They're normal, they're sane, right? Mentally sane. Same story. It's been 2 years, on and off. So there have been periods where it's been really quiet. So a lot of times they're waking up in the night running to, other rooms. Help me, she's going to get me, she's going to get me. Waking up their partner. They hear she's going to kill me, I'm going to die. And what are they describing? They are describing a woman. They keep seeing a woman. Wakes them up, comes from a corner of the room normally, sometimes whispering their name in their ears, and they're waking up. So I'm trying to clarify, is it a dream? Saying, no, I'm seeing this in reality. Maybe there is some kind of transitioning between dream state and reality, but a lot of their description is, no, it's happening in real life. I'm seeing these things. A tall woman, scary looking. Sometimes they describe like she's got a niqab on. Two different type of women. And then sometimes they're dancing around, subhanAllah. Sometimes the bed is moving. Sometimes you can hear like jingling noises, like, bangles or something, like they're dancing. Some kind of stories you'll hear about jinns maybe living their own life, doing whatever, their traditions or something. So we were really confused, Ustad, you know what I mean? I've done ruqya, right? We've called another Raqi. And it's gone to the state where I'm reading Quran and shaking has started. And palpitations, subhanAllah, like the muscles, like the flickering of the muscles. I'm holding that part, I'm reading. But then, there's times where I've gone on for an hour, maybe about that much, maybe longer. But it's not come to the point where the jinn has spoken. I'm even trying to obviously I've learned, I know it could be dangerous. I tried to take my measures, and generally they say people should be very cautious giving ruqya, because it was someone close to me, and I thought that this one-off appointment to Raqis, we need much more than that. And then they were saying as well, recite. So I'm reciting, these verses for ruqya and so on. Shaking has started, but it's not got to the point where anyone has spoken, a jinn has surfaced and admitted. Although like they're looking at me sometimes, they're looking around like I could tell like it's not them. Do you know what I mean? But then we went to Iraqi recently, and then he was doing ruqya for a long time, and he said again, like we went to him 10, 11 years ago for another person. He goes, I don't see it. From my experience, I don't think the person is possessed. It seems like they've been touched by a jinn. The jinn is playing around, playing games with them, trying to scare them. I said, is it sent? They said, not necessarily. It could be random, jinns, maybe in the area, in the house, but not possessed. We were kind of relieved to a certain extent. We were like, okay, maybe that's the case because it's been a while. A lot of, ruqya sessions have taken place. We even took them Whitechapel, subhanAllah. And what is this? Have you heard about this being touched by a jinn? Because they said sometimes that jinn is not entering, but you can see things. They're playing with your mind. The Raqi said another woman came, similar, and in the room of the Raqi's house, she could see someone. And he said, look, you recite. Ayat al-Kursi, I think. You recite. And then it went away. So he said this is a case of being touched by a jinn and not being possessed.
Obviously, subhanAllah, the world of jinn, first and foremost, jinns are everywhere. Okay, we know the fact that they've existed way before the insan, way before the human being.
Yeah.
So they're everywhere. So they have the special ability to possess a human, and we can't see them. Okay. Now we understand that from the hadith al-Nabawi, where a young boy came to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he was possessed. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he touched his chest and said, Bismillah, ikhsa bi amrillah, ikhsa bi amrillah, leave in the name of Allah, leave in the name of Allah, and then he left. Okay? So we know the fact that they can have a touch of jinn is true. Now the touch of jinn will come to you, to a human, if that person, for example, they are not really clean. Okay? That's one of the things how a jinn can possess a human. They don't have much of tahara, cleanliness. Okay? Another reason it could come to a woman is that she puts a lot of perfume on. Subhanallah. She puts a lot of perfume on. A lady who is always sad, constantly sad, she can be possessed. Another person who's constantly in the mode of ghafla. So there's no salah, there's no, there's no Islamic etiquettes. That person can get possessed, what they call a mas, a person mamsus, like a person who got struck by a jinn. Now, that can happen, okay, and they can possess you. They can possess you and stay in your body. But those kind of jinni, it could be the walking jinn, it could be the flying jinn, okay? It could be the fact that you went past a certain area in your, in the park, you're crossing one park, one area to another area, and, it was Maghrib time, and it could be even early morning, and something happened to you, you feel a bit dizziness, and you felt like you fell. You basically got fainted, you fell in the floor, you got up and you carried on the normal day. It could be one of those ones, but that stuff, true, it does exist. It can happen to anyone. Okay, that's why we need Quran al-Kareem in our lives. We need the morning and evening adhkar in our lives. Regarding someone who sees stuff in the house, okay, now from my understanding, Akhi Abu Musa here, okay, I could be mistaken because we're dealing with the alam al-jinn, the world of jinn, okay. It could be a lot of the time, when it comes to sihr, there's something called sihr al-qatl, sihr of killing. So you want to perform sihr on a person for that person to die. Subhanallah, ajib. Another thing that could be also is sihr al-janoon, sihr of making someone become crazy, mad. Okay, another thing could be a sihr at-takhayyul, imagination, so you see things. From my understanding, Akhi Abu Musa, that is sihr and it may not be mas. It may not be mas. I haven't seen or I haven't met someone who says it's just a mas, because if it is a mas, touch of the jinn in terms of a jinn, kind of possessed you because he liked you, because you're weak in your deen, because you're very sad, you're too sad, you're very upset with things, and the jinn possess you because of those reasons, then the healing, then the jinn would have spoken. It would have spoken, it would have said things, or it would have left the body when the rock is arriving. It leaves the body. Okay, it's just roaming around the house. For that reason, it's a special treatment, akhi. To put Surah Al-Baqarah on for a good number of hours in the house, spray water in the room, in the house for at least 21 days. You need to listen to certain audios for at least 21 days to 1 month, or 40 days, depending on the severity of the situation. And eventually it goes away. For young girls or young children, you have a lot of tummy ache. Okay, a lot of belly aches, a lot of issue with the health that the doctors don't know about. You need to bring the mother over. Most likely the issue with the mother. Okay, so it needs a lot of tashkhis, so to diagnose it basically. But I can't really, if it is mess in terms of not really pure possession, again you need to go to that person, recite on that person, to really find out what it is. Okay, because you're dealing with the unseen here, you can't really see it, you know what I mean?
Very, very complex.
Yeah.
But you said that sihr to kill, but generally they say that obviously they don't have the power to harm or kill, and obviously we know it's only with the permission of Allah. And the general advice is to not be scared. They kind of feed on the fear. So what advice would you give? Like, could they actually, I guess, slowly, that deterioration takes place in that way to try to kill a person?
Yeah. It's not going to happen straight away. The death of a person could be, through, again, hallucination. I love hallucination. And so the jinn going to have to be really strong one to actually eventually make that human do self-harm.
Yeah.
Okay. And we know self-harm is on the rise, akhi. You go to, like I've coached many brothers where I've seen a lot of marks in their hands.
Serious.
Yeah, and that is a lot got to do with mental health generally.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those who've been affected with sihr, that they want to, sihr of qatl, sihr of killing, then that also exists, akhi. But it's a very slow one.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill you straight away. But it could be illness. It could be like because of sihr now you have cancer.
Yeah.
Subhanallah.
Because of the stress, stress causes a lot of diseases.
Subhanallah.
Takes a toll on a person.
Yeah, akhi, it's crazy. Subhanallah.
And I remember reading some books, and subhanallah, the states these people go to get, more respect from the shayateen or more obedience from the jinn, it's like they do some disgusting things. A'udhu billah, like, basically doing number 2 on the Quran, a'udhu billah, incest, I heard, pouring blood and these kind of nasty things. And you know what? Because of my experience, Ustad, being around certain environments, it's very similar. Wherever the shaitan is involved, there's very similar traits. So for instance, on the streets, people would sometimes do, the more evil things they would do, the more respect they would get, because they have to put that fear in people. Do you know what I mean? So, it's just a nasty place to be in. Like the more kind of like crazier things you do,
the more kufr, for example.
The more kufr you do, the more respect you'll get. And I think it's very similar to this field that these magicians are involved in. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, when the shayateen, if they wanna, if the sahir, the magician, wants to become that iconic or maybe among the hierarchy ones, he needs to do more kufr. So he needs to, straight away, he needs to have a warfare with the Quran al-Karim, with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Straight away. He needs to be, he needs to become a murtad. So someone who left al-Islam. So he will get a piece of Quran al-Karim and he will do exactly what he just said. He'll put it underneath his feet, he'll put a rope around it and walk with it.
Yeah.
He will go to a very quiet area. Now those areas, the fact like human beings don't really go there.
Yeah.
Like these like weird mountainous areas where people don't, like you can't, it's not habitable. Do you know what I mean? they will go to those areas for a good number of days, like 30 days, 40 days, and they will beat themselves up with the
Well, like
stick.
chilla or something they call it in Urdu. Yeah, I was going to ask about
they'll
that.
beat them. They'll beat themselves. They're gonna be in najasa. They're gonna do they can take less food, like it could be dates, could be fruits, for that amount of days. Tin food.
And they make like a
will-
circle around them.
a circle around them.
Yeah.
Yes, and they will stay there. Some also say the fact that they can do the number one, number two in that space as well, in that area. So you're the most dirtiest of all. And then the jinn gonna appear. Okay, it may appear like a snake.
Mhm.
It may appear like a black dog, or it may appear like like a voice talking to you.
Mhm.
Like, what do you want? Like now you're gonna be now serving.
Yeah. Yeah,
another
certified
hierarchy.
basically.
You become certified. You
A
graduated.
certified kafir. Allah protect
So,
us and guide us.
So now you're reaching another level now. So what's gonna happen now is that jinn gonna give you another jinn to be with you. So now it's like you're getting married to another jinn. Okay, could be a male, it could be a female. Okay, now you're gonna be working with that jinn. Now that jinn and that human gonna have a love and hate relationship. That human who has sold himself to the jinn, to the devil, what's gonna happen with him now is that he can't have children. He's gonna find it hard to sleep. He's gonna have appetite issues. It's like he himself is possessed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he will have difficult eating. He's gonna have difficult having relationship with his wife, and his wife gonna be soon also gonna become possessed. So there's no barak in your house anymore.
Yeah.
Now that's how you basically reach that level of becoming a magician. Where you can have to go through this kufr, have to go through those high, like lengthy, that journey basically to become that person. A'udhu billah.
SubhanAllah. May Allah protect us. I just wanted to mention one of the craziest experiences of me being around this jinn environment, and then I wanted to ask you as well. So my experience, which did get me a bit shook, I'll be honest, was when I was with a family member. They were getting ruqya, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but roughly I want to mention what happened. And we were quite shocked, subhanAllah. So obviously the ruqya is taking place, the Raqi is reciting Quran on them, and they are in this subconscious state, do you know what I mean, reacting to the Quran and so on. And I believe eyes are closed, and I'm sitting next to them, but I don't know if they knew where I was sitting. And then it got to the stage where the jinn is talking, and the Raqi said, where is the sihr? Where is it? And they kind of pointed towards me, and in the voice of the jinn said something like his room. I was like, boy, subhanAllah, definitely that was a moment of truth there, and that did shake me a bit. Do you know what I mean? Knowing that, although we know the jinn, they lie as well and everything, we looked around, we found something, but it wasn't like actual ta'weez, It's like a bone underneath the thing, a little bone underneath like the wood of the thing. Well, we weren't 100% because although why would a bone be there? But then we were thinking maybe it's builders back in the day, building work.
Yeah.
But something did happen. There was a slight reaction when we found that to the person who was possessed. Allah alam, we got rid of it. I believe I did my recitation and so on. But that was my experience. And I wanted to ask, what's your experience with the jinn, that your crazy story that you remember?
Brother Abu Musa, you see, in my life in that past many years, I made many intentions of not doing it anymore, because you go to people's houses, they're very distraught, you know what I mean? Especially dealing with marital lives, doing counselling, and you also need to have a sane mind. Do you know what I mean? They say that a lot of the people who are dealing with sihr or healers, a a lot of the relationship doesn't last. Subhanallah.
SubhanAllah.
A lot of the relationship doesn't last. In fact, the person I was translating for, I asked a question to him. That was about 5 years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago. He said, "Ya Abu Yusha, هل أنت ترقي الناس إلى الآن?" He said, "Are you still reciting on people till today?" I said, "Yes, of course, as a help, as a, trying to be part of a good deed." He's like, "Ya akhi, utruk hada, leave this." I said, "Why?" He said, "That will cause issues in your marriage. You don't realize that." I'm like, "Oh, okay, Sheikh, whatever. Just give me that, okay, Alhamdulillah. I just want the answer, please, And he gave me the answer, then it's finished.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't pay much attention of that advice. Then I realized, you know what? It's actually true, because when you go to people's houses and you meet those kind of like exorcist movie type, do you know what I mean? When you see those ones, it affects you later on.
Yeah. So you're saying it affects the Raqi's life relationship?
Life, yes.
Yeah.
But then I realized, you know what? It's true if you know how to control your emotions. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you know how to control your emotion, this was the knowledge of psychology came along. Do you know what I mean? That's when I learned. That's when I done my course, in psychology and counselling. That's when I applied for my tazkiyah.
It's an honor for us.
Yeah. So when I done my course, I realized how to manage your emotions, like how to counterattack it, and how to better understand yourself and how to carry yourself. And because of that, as I've do my ruqya with the patients, I try to forget those patients as well, to sanctify my sanity.
Yes, very important.
I don't remember a lot of the stories, because when I leave that house, I go home like a normal person. Like nothing happened. I can get along with my day normally.
Yeah.
Talk to my missus normally. Like nothing happened. So if you're going to talk about stories, I can only mention some stories where the jinn starts speaking another language.
Okay.
That's what really makes me, do you know what, subhanallah,
Yeah.
that's the ilm al-ghaib.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So a lady who never ever spoke Urdu, Habibi, speaks fluent Urdu.
SubhanAllah.
A young girl who never ever spoke a language called Slovak or something, speaks that language very fluently.
SubhanAllah.
A lady who never spoke Arabic language, speaks Arabic like you.
Yeah. You witnessed that personally?
I witnessed that personally. That's how you know that, you know what, that takes you a bit back, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the jinn, the way they look at your eyes, like, you know what, I'm going to get you one day.
Yeah, I've experienced that.
The way they look at your eyes, Habibi. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like when you get about to get into a fight or something.
Yeah. And they do get into a fight, Habib. I'll mention a story.
So,
they get into a fight. I'll tell you a story. So, that happened in 2017. So, I dealt with the case. The first session I done, nothing was happening. I recited some Quran al-Kareem. Nothing was happening. Second time I went, okay, some reaction. But I never realized that there's a jinn inside her. So the husband is there. So one thing I want to let you know, brother Abu Musa, there's a lot of stigma attached to brothers dealing with ruqya. So especially the event that took place with one of the brother from East London, from Tower Hamlets. He basically conned a lot of people, took a lot of money from them. I think you know that story, the famous one.
No.
And so, I think the viewers probably have heard about him. So when I'm performing ruqya, I never do it alone with the sister. Never ever.
Yeah.
Okay? It has to be her brother, her older son, not younger son, older son, or her husband.
Yeah.
Never ever I'm going to sit down.
Muslim.
It has to be. I have to protect myself, akhi. It's I can't and go into the houses.
Yeah.
So what I tend to do is I don't ever go into a situation I'm alone with the sister. Never ever. A'udhu billah, it's haram, ya akhi.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But the thing is, we keep it professional. So what I do, I open a WhatsApp chat with the husband, with her, and myself, and it's always a third person.
Yeah.
And that's how I prefer it to be. That sister went to the house, a couple, they never had a children at that time. MashaAllah, Allah blessed with a child a couple of months ago. He keeps in touch with me because I made a good breakthrough with this one, alhamdulillah. The third time I went to the house, I sought permission from the husband, and I sent a light slap at the back, like boom,
Yeah.
like that, and that's it. He wants to fight you now.
Yeah.
The jinn is out now.
Alhamdulillah.
What are you hitting me for? Who do you think you are?
No way.
Come.
Alhamdulillah.
Like, and it's coming to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my friend, my husband, tried to restrain her, put her in the sofa, but she had some strength, boy.
Yeah.
Akhi, like some next level strength. A young girl trying to twist your hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something different. And he's like, Akhi, I can't hold her. And obviously, alhamdulillah, I've got my gloves on, I've got everything on, and trying to restrain her.
Yeah.
And then after reciting Quran al-Kareem and few dua and giving her a whole healing method, a whole healing program, she became better, alhamdulillah. So those are some of the stories that come to light, especially when you're driving far journeys.
Yeah.
Like, what happened that day?
Yeah.
What happened,
Imagine,
man?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
It does take a toll on you, stuff. Even like with, coaching work, counseling brothers, because you feel very responsible. Sometimes you take on that responsibility and it's hard to let go because you hear so much pain, so much suffering, do you know what I mean? And some brothers have deep, deep issues, They sometimes latch on to you, do you know what I mean? They want to basically, there's all kind of cases, and it does get difficult, and that's why they say coaches need coaching as well. Do you know what I mean? To be able to process what they're dealing with. So it's not an easy field when you're dealing with people, and this is where we as a community need to be more understanding of this. Even as therapists, coaches, and as clients, be understanding of the load that your coach is working with, your Raqi is working with, make it easy for each other. Do you know what I mean? We all want the best for each other at the end of the day. And in order for this field of our community to thrive, we have to, be the best we can. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I remember when I first started working for my tazkiyah, the first month my appetite went away, akhi.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Like, something with the admin, it gives the hard cases. Or is it maybe most of them are hard to deal with, Allahu Alam. They're not hard, but when you go into the world of coaching the first time and you hear all those stories and you've been very empathic and understanding and trying to understand from his feet. You go inside his zone.
Yeah.
Actually, I lost my appetite. I couldn't eat for like
I've had that. I feel like I developed reflux issues when we really got busy, after COVID. And not down to that, obviously, there's many things, diet and so on. But I started developing some stomach issues, subhanAllah. But I think that's to do with the stress, the overload of dealing with people sometimes, because obviously this acid reflux it has a lot to do with stress levels.
Now, Brother Abu Musa, think about this. Every day I'm coaching brothers, and then at night time I'm going to the Ruqya places, people's homes, and witnessing their sorrow and witnessing screams. At night, akhi, wallahi al-azim, at night you just need to do 2 rak'ah and just relax and slowly go to sleep.
It's so important for me that 1-2 hours in the night, like that me time, otherwise you'll struggle to sleep. Do you know what I mean? SubhanAllah. But may Allah make it easy for us and accept it from us. And this is why we try to ask with regards to clients and so on. Obviously it's not easy, and we definitely don't want to overwhelm someone. But alhamdulillah, may Allah accept it from you, Ustad. So touching on coaching and mental health, how can one differentiate whether it's a mental health issue or it's to do with possession or evil eye? Can you give any pointers? Because what is Ustad, I feel like sometimes I've seen that we could use it as an excuse. So a brother he's possessed, but now he's committing haram, and mentally, on a psychological level, he's allowing himself, to do certain things and blaming it on the jinn. No, I'm suffering from, jinn issues, so, he's putting a blame on the jinn. And this is very counterproductive. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it is, we can never blame it on another entity. Whether it's jinn, whether it's our qareen, whether it's another person. Our relationship and our obedience is directly related to Allah Azza wa Jal. So how can we try to protect ourselves from that and basically I know it's not easy to differentiate, but maybe you can give some pointers.
Well, mental health, akhi, because of your lifestyle, because of you not being able to control your emotions, and you falling yourself into depression, anxiety, you're not strong enough to counterattack those wiswas or certain moments or certain phases that you went through in your life, like for example, postnatal depression, typical one, or you have what you call personality disorder. You have psychotic, you have schizophrenia, bipolar, all those kind of disorders that you have and mental illness that you go through. That is quite known. Okay, it could be inherited, akhi. Mirathi. It could be inherited.
Yeah.
Your family members had it. You're also going through that phase now.
Definitely.
So these are very common one. Now, what happened with jinn possession? You get camouflaged a bit. That's what it is. It's a bit of a camouflage that's going on with people affected with sihr or maybe jinn possession or evil eye. It's very similar. But the thing is, when it comes to the patient with suffering from jinn possession, when it comes to sihr, is that when you go to the doctor doesn't know anything. There's no symptom that comes up. It's totally fine. So when you go to the scan, all the scans that you do in your brain, everything's normal. Okay, you give blood test, everything comes out normal. Okay, and when you go home, the whole drama starts. When you go home, you feel bad about yourself. You get so much wiswas, intrusive thoughts. Everything just jammed inside you, basically. That's how you would know it's a sihr or maybe jinn possession. The other ones, how you would know is basically bringing someone over to your house or maybe doing a self-healing.
Yeah.
So when you listen to Quran al-Kareem and you listen to ayat of sihr, you feel affected, you feel anxiety, you feel hot thrushes, you feel really cold, you feel you feel agitated, you want to switch it off. That's how you would know, akhi. It's really similar to mental health, but it's not mental health. And this is something that I really, akhi, Musa, really bothers me, akhi, because what it is, we have a lot of coaches, Allahumma barik, a lot of therapists, a lot of female, a lot of male, but they never ever they never tell or advise the clients to go and see a raqi. They never do that. They never say, go and see someone, go and speak to an imam or maybe someone who can perform ruqya on you, because they do so much sessions with those clients, akhi, but they don't never make a breakthrough. Like, doesn't it come to your mind the fact that you're dealing with a Muslim? Like, you know what? Let me be a bit more realistic. Let me be a bit more open with him and tell him to go to a Muslim healer, or book himself an appointment with the raqi and recite on him. They never do that, because they disregard the whole aspect of ruqya. And some of the therapists, they're just gonna leave them aside. They're just gonna they take the money, like a lot of money, akhi. They take it, and then they're just left stranded, akhi.
Yeah.
And then that's how I know this, because I worked with them. Do you know what I mean? I done ruqya on them, and I told them the history. They said, I done therapy with that sister, I've done therapy with that brother, nothing worked. I'm like, yeah, nothing gonna work, because your one isn't a mental health issue. Like, you're completely fine. You have, just going through some spiritual illness, akhi. You know what I mean? It could be sihr, it could be evil eye, it could be jealousy. Someone, that's what it is. You have no issue. You're a normal person. You govern yourself. There's no one governing it for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when someone blames you on the jinn completely, then this is a type of delusion. This is you lying to yourself. This is you trying to blame it on the jinn, whilst Allah Azza wa Jal, He still commands you to do salah even when you're ill.
Yeah.
Except for the person his aql has left them. So when you're possessed at that time, you don't have to pray. Do you know what I mean? Because you fall under the category of someone who's married, who's ill. Even the fiqh, you're someone who's married, someone who's ill. But the thing is, that's how it is, akhi. You can't blame me. End of the day, Allah Azza wa Jal has made everyone to govern himself.
Yeah.
That's what I believe in. Everyone's born to be free, akhi. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, you may go through certain scenarios in life that now you feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel anxiety. You have bipolar, that you have that came to your life. Some point in your life you're going through that phase basically.
Yeah.
And that needs separate therapy. It could be medication, it could be talking therapy, it could be ruqya as well. But Quran al-Karim, subhanallah, it cures everything.
100%.
It cures everything, habibi.
100%.
The power of Quran al-Karim,
Yeah.
you can only witness it when you see it, when you give that as a healing method to a Muslim and tell him, do you know what, believe in Quran al-Karim, believe in the method, believe that Jalla wa Ala is Ash-Shafi.
Yeah.
He's the one who gives cure. When they go through it and when they start doing the salah again, subhanallah, it's like they're newly born, akhi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is what I believe as well, Ustad. Like, if you're suffering from these illnesses, anxiety, depression, whatever it is, do both. Get help from a therapist, a Muslim therapist, counselor, coach, and also do self-ruqya, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't go wrong. And through that, you'll find out, right? If it's to do with jinn, like the ruqya will show something, you'll start getting side effects and signs that there's something going on related to possession. And if it goes to that extent, then you can see someone, obviously we are told that it is better to do self-ruqya, but things get overwhelming sometimes and you need to see a professional, you need to go someone who knows what they're doing. But yeah, in my experience as well, when I was with that family member, the experience of getting ruqya in 2011-12, some of the happiest days of my life I lived then, because they were doing the azkar, they had these special leaflets and that, the azkar, that they were doing. I was getting used to doing that, reciting Quran on them, doing azan. Even azan is okay to do azan generally, right? Like what someone will start a ruqya. I was doing this a lot, just randomly, azan.
But Abu, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
The thing with yourself, and I wish people had that same mindset,
Yeah.
is that you're a type of person, but you know what? I've got the ability to do so, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you took that initiative. Like, I deal with men and women who are very educated, akhi, and the family members are ill, but they're never going to take the initiative of doing it and helping someone else.
Yes,
Like,
man.
everyone's a raqi.
Yeah.
Everyone's a healer.
Exactly.
Allah Azza wa Jal is a shafi.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't need someone like myself.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? You don't need anyone. What you have done is you've taken that initiative, and that's the right way of doing it. Like, Allah Azza wa Jal has given this Quran al-Karim to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the healing is accessible. Okay, do it. Don't rely on someone. Don't rely on me. Do you know what I mean? Don't
This is
rely on
what we
anyone.
try to do in coaching as well, right?
Yeah.
You've seen, and this is what people say about, brother said for 10 years he was trying to recover from his pornography addiction, and he goes, alhamdulillah, he found some success with us, and he goes, the difference was that you guys just direct people to Allah, and no matter how much mental health work you do, no matter how much therapy, coaching you do, it's invalid without the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without your connection with Allah. And you see the whole Mataskiyah program, we've tried to, it's from Allah, well, whatever good, that you've added and we've together as a team, we just try to base it on your relationship with Allah, along with both, the two basically pillars are your relationship with Allah and your underlying mental health issues.
Yes.
And one cannot be done without the other. So,
Exactly.
fix your relationship with Allah and you fix your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that statement said, take care of your relationship with Allah and Allah will take care of everything else. And it's about, that's what should be our aim. Every single Muslim's aim, to develop that tawheed, that tawakkul directly with Allah. You know, that
Subhanallah.
rope, that one end is with Allah
Subhanallah.
and the other end is with you, that direct connection without anyone in between. Although sometimes, like, you know, you need someone to help guide, but ultimately, even that help and guide should be telling you this. There is nothing between you and Allah,
Subhanallah.
right? Direct connection.
That's the reason why my tazkiyah is very successful. My tazkiyah is very unique, and it's an honor to be part of my tazkiyah, because
Alhamdulillah.
the help that we offer to the brothers, and when they make a breakthrough,
Yeah.
subhanallah,
Powerful,
that's
isn't it?
something that money cannot buy, akhi.
Yeah.
You know.
Wallahi.
And the beautiful thing also what I found is like a relief for me, because most of the brothers, they don't have jinn issues. In fact, I haven't found no one suffering from jinn-related issue or evil eye. It's all underlying mental issues, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
mental health issues. And just a bit of hard wiring, you know, there's a bit of a habit that is happening in the life, which is addiction to the content or the pornography. But the thing is, like, when they make a breakthrough, Akhi Abu Musa,
Yeah.
money cannot buy.
Yeah,
They are
seriously,
they're very normal brothers, and you know, they have a normal lifestyle, but it's just something that is stopping them from staying sober. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And this is where the coaches come along, and we try to identify where you're coming wrong, Akhi. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And a lot of the time is, you know what, we give them a platform.
Yeah.
We give them a platform and said, you know what, Ya Habibi Ta'ala huna, come. Stand there.
Yeah.
Ask your Rabb.
Yes. And that's all it is, really.
Ask your Rabb, Ya Akhi.
Like one brother, he said, yeah, like, he goes, he's learning, you know, Tawheed from students of knowledge, Kitab al-Tawheed. And he goes, it's just sometimes the way you've worded it, the way you've explained it, like it hit in a different way. And I said, we're far from scholars. Alhamdulillah, you're a person of knowledge. We are far from scholars. Like, I can never take that position. I'm teaching someone a book, yeah, or, you know, teaching Tawheed. We just give signposts, right? Reminders. Yeah, learn about Tawheed, learn about Tawakkul. And he goes, you know, just some things like that total reliance. Yeah, وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Right? Just this verse, you know, keep mindful of it. Remind yourself of this verse, or remind yourself that everything is in Allah's hands. And this is what we say, you can't get sober. This is the difference. You know, people try all these movements, no fap, I'm going to work out and get sober, I'm going to do therapy and get sober, I'm going to do this. I try to say you can never get sober until you submit and surrender to your Lord. And know that, you know, success is only by Allah. وَمَا تَوْفِيقِي إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ.
Illa billah. Subhanallah.
No one can give you sobriety. And you have to admit that, you know, because it's something very powerful. In other programs as well, they talk about powerlessness, power through powerlessness. And it is only when you are in this state of submission and surrender, like, I am nothing, I can't do this. And brothers vouch for this. 20, 30 years they've been addicted, falling, or, you know, and they can't do it. And that's exactly where you need to be. You need to be in a place where you have submitted, you have surrendered, and know only Allah alone can grant me this. And my job is to do my recovery work and stay connected.
Yeah.
But Ustad, I don't want to go too into my tazkiyah now, so because I'm a bit concerned about your parking and so on, inshallah.
No problem.
So we'll try to wrap it up. If you could just tell us a bit about your organization, My Fitra, and, you know, how people can get in touch if they need help, and we'll also put your details in the description, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Well, my fitra healing is basically mainly about, number one, dealing with jinn possession and evil eye, okay, and spiritual illnesses. Number two is focusing on marital discourse, so marriage counseling. So a lot about marriage counseling. Another thing that I do is what you call, that's the main two basically. You know?
Yeah.
So what I mainly focus on is marriage counseling and ruqya. That's what I do. So if anyone wants to get hold of me, then obviously my website gonna be there, and inshallah they can get hold of me. But please book a session rather than random messages. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But my main priority is actually with my tazkiyah,
Yeah.
okay? Because I need to be there for the brothers. And whatever comes through my fitra is just a secondary thing that I do, okay? And it's just something that I look at night time, okay? So after 9 p.m. I look into my fitra patients or brothers and sisters. So if you have an issue, inshallah, then you can go through my website, or you can email me, inshallah. And after you email me, I can give you my number, inshallah. I'm not going to give my number out straight away because it's just not. I just really don't really feel comfortable.
That makes sense.
Yeah. However, when it comes to ruqya related issues, I can do it via mobile phone, doing ruqya via mobile phone, or home visits that I can do inside London. Okay, could be outside of London, but obviously something that we can discuss, inshallah.
Inshallah. Barakallahu feek. Sorry, you want to say something?
No, that's it.
We really wanted to go into, even a brother mentioned, because obviously you do marriage counselling. I really wanted to go into that, but we don't have time. I think, inshallah, we're going to probably call you back if you can give us more time. It's been an amazing session. Maybe you can come back multiple times if you have time to give. And may Allah reward you and accept it from us. And khair, inshallah, we'll end it there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.